Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the West Ham Massive. This is another episode of Talk West Ham. We haven't done one of these for a little while, and we've got a couple of guests. And I'm sure you'll recognise Charlie, who pops up on a few broadcasts here and there. Kris has been on once or twice before. And we've managed to get a heavy hitter of the YouTube West Ham fraternity. Nick, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Heavy because I'm overweight, or that's all it
Nah,
can be, really.
No, nothing like that, Nick. Nothing like that. How are you, mate? Are you good?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to the protest on Saturday.
Yes.
Getting that ball rolling.
You're going?
I am.
I might see you there.
I'm indeed. Getting there nice and early. Going to have some pie mash first.
Where are you going? Kelly's?
Yeah, down a Roman.
Nice. I might even partake of that myself. You never know.
Give us a shout in the morning. I'll see you over there.
Breakfast pie and mash. What could go wrong? Breakfast of champions. Right. Okay. So, look, we all know why we're here, ladies and gentlemen. There's been obviously a lot of back and forth between the supporter groups and the board. And yesterday they came out with their statement, their retort to the fans to try and placate the rank and file, basically us, to try and sort of calm us down and get us on side. And
what's a trick?
Look, well, yeah, massively. I mean, you know, sort of if it was ever an exercise in how to sort of put your foot in your mouth, I think they managed to do a gold medal job of it. But I mean, basically, guys, I'm a bit of a lazy sod. I mentioned this to you guys before we go live, but to you guys that are out there, I'm basically a bit of a lazy sod. This thing's about 1,300 words or something like that. I've shoved it into AI and I've basically got the summarization that I'm looking at, but everybody can go out there and read it for themselves if they want to take the time. But I'll tell you what, I'll come to, if you don't mind, chaps, I'll come to Nick first to start this particular ball rolling. Did it satisfy you in any way, Nick?
Satisfied me in a sense that it was very, very useful, because it was they couldn't have put out a better statement for people that are behind petitions and protests and stuff like that. Honestly, when you're reading it, it makes you angry, but you think, my God, they've scored a fucking own goal here, haven't they? They really have scored an own goal here. And within half an hour to an hour, you know, you've got people debunking everything that they put in that statement. None more so than what 6'2" did as well. Andy did, you know, where he went through the accounts, and basically, I think they said that we'd spent 100 million net over the last 3 years, and he worked it out. It's around about 38 million. It's nowhere near, you know, on par with Fulham, Palace, and teams like that. You know, which is not what we was promised, boys. It's not what we was promised. It's not why we moved here.
The 10-point plan, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. So no, it was utter bullshit. It was just, you know, it was nonsense. It didn't feel really like they put much effort into it. It was almost like, you know, like the interview that Brady did on TalkSport, where she just sort of went over every point, saying how great, you know, this is the second longest stint we've been in the top flight, you know, brilliant. 3 years in Europe, blah, 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 blah. Just focusing on that stuff, ignoring everything that we've got the arsehole about. Yeah, it's the same shit. They've got nothing. I think they're on the ropes, personally. They really are on the ropes now.
Yeah, I think they are rattled. I think they know that the next couple of matches, the next couple of months, whatever, I think this could be really critical for the outcome of the long-term outcome of the club, because obviously at the minute, as far as our Premier League status is concerned, I think it's fair to say that it's precarious at best. But Nick, what about, Kris, what about your thoughts on the statement? Because I know we was swapping messages a little bit earlier, and I think you've got quite a bit that you want to get off your chest, haven't you?
Well, yeah, first of all, I actually looked at old news articles from back when we had issues at the Burnley game, and the statement that they put out then and the statement they put out yesterday is practically word for word. Honestly, all they've done is oh, it was 10 years in the Premier League then, and they put 14 years in the Premier League. It's just shit, absolute shit. She's recycling the same old crap, the same stuff she did on TalkSport. Everything else is the same shit over and over again. It's like she's a fucking robot.
Okay.
Yeah, I think probably what they've done is they've utilised something similar to what I did when I put the statement into AI and said, "Can you just summarise this for
Wouldn't
me?"
surprise me, Gatesy.
Yeah, I
Wouldn't surprise
reckon
me.
that's what they've done. They've just put it, just sort of like said to the AI, just tinker around the edges and bring it up to the 2025 version, and they've gone, oh, that'll do.
How do we maximise the anger in the West Ham fan base?
Take those on full.
Yeah,
this kind of goes on to my point and go back to your initial introduction, Rob. But is it a statement to placate West Ham fans? Is it a statement for us?
It didn't work if it was.
Well, they knew it wouldn't work because they did the same thing in the board meeting or the fan meeting, and they got told where they was wrong in every single area of that statement anyway. West Ham fans call out this bullshit on a fucking daily basis at the moment, but weekly, monthly, every year. We called out this bullshit constantly. So I'm not sure. Some might disagree here, but I don't think they're totally thick. I don't think they're totally stupid in some ways.
I think they're talking. They're not talking to us. They know we're a lost cause. They're talking to the mainstream media. Yeah,
yeah. They're trying to get them back on side. They've seen the mainstream media going against them over the last few weeks. The protests are getting back to the demonstrations are getting back to the fan unrest. The mainstream media is coming over and supporting West Ham fans' gripes. They're trying to get them back on side and say, look, this is how great we are. These mainstream media journalists don't go into the detail and question. Oh, they've said that there's £100 million net over the last 3 years. Let's actually scrutinise that and see if that's factual. They've said they've spent all this money on the fucking training ground. Well, we all know it's portal cabins, and that's about it. I was going to try and add something else to that, but there ain't much else, is there? It's just portal cabins.
But the cat's out the bag now. In terms of the mainstream media, there's been far too many amazing hit pieces that have been written on Sullivan now. Like, so some of them have been brilliant. There was one in the Telegraph yesterday that completely and utterly sort of dismantled what they've done. So yeah, they can't. And those, whatever they mentioned within that, nothing within that statement deflects away from the issues that we've got. None of it does.
As Kris said, it's nothing they haven't said before.
No, not at all.
We told them it's bollocks before. So that's my view on it. It's not a statement to get West Ham fans on side. It was never going to do that. It's to try and get this mainstream media away from, and then doing any trick in the book to minimise these protests at the weekend, whether that is trying to get the mainstream media away from it, the fucking nonsense stories today about the mystery owner or investment into the club. The same story comes out every time the ball are up against the wall. The exact same story comes out every time. So
they've even gone for the populist managerial choice of Bilic to try and sort of, because a lot of us have got a soft spot for Slav. We have. But yeah, I don't know.
We have, but it's a hell of a risk. I don't want to give too much away, but I have done a recording that's going to be kicked out tomorrow with my thoughts on Slaven Bilic. But I'll probably keep my mouth shut because otherwise there's no point you watching it. So I'll lose views. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But I do have certain opinions on Slav. It's a little bit of a mixed bag for me. But okay, let's have a look. As I say, I've basically put the puff piece, which is basically all it is. It's a load of BS from BS. It's exactly what you'd expect. I basically shoved it into AI because I'm a lazy bastard. So it's basically broke it down, and I've got 5 paragraphs that AI has basically chopped it down to. I'm going to go through these 5 paragraphs one by one, and let's see. And you guys in the live chat, I really want you guys to get involved, and let's see what conversation we can basically fire off the back of it. So the first paragraph that the AI has basically chopped it down to is to say that the key points are: there's an acknowledgement and disappointment. The club acknowledges that recent on-field performances and results have not met expectations, and they can agree with the fans' desire for greater ambition aiming for regular top half finishes, cup runs, and European qualification. I'd start with you, Kris. What's your retort?
Well, first of all, the fact that they've got big ambitions and shit. And if you've got big ambitions, then why are you trying to, replace Potter with bloody Slaven Bilic? You know what I mean? It's not exactly like he's a big, massive manager, is he? You know, that's not. It's crap, absolute shit. And they're going on about these porter cabins, like for example, oh yeah, we've spent 4 million on the training facilities. Well, how come Brighton or Bournemouth, whoever it was, that spent 450 million on theirs? Everton have just spent 280 on theirs. Yeah, 4 million. Fuck off. Seriously.
Charlie, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, coming back to the ambition, I think Kris hits the nail on the head. You can't say you've got ambition of a club if you're going out and appointing successive managers of Graham Potter out of work, Lopetegui out of work, fouled. David Moyes, second time over after you've already said he's not good enough. Moving on to the next one that looks like could be any one of Bilic, Dyche. Yeah, it would have been. I'm almost certain it would have been Cooper if he didn't get a job last week or whatever it was. Bromby, yeah, I'm almost convinced it would have been him.
I'm surprised they ain't going after fucking Rafa Benitez, mate.
It wouldn't surprise me, but even the Nuno appointment doesn't. They wouldn't. I don't think they'd go for it, but it's still not ambitious, is it?
Not at all.
But then again, this comes back to the point. This isn't a statement for us. It's a statement to say, look how good we are. We're ambitious because we know what their ambitions are. We know their ambitions are 17th every season. Get that Premier League TV money, take a loan out against it with Wonga or whichever payday loan lender they use. Have a few more dodgy deals, allegedly, with agents.
Well done.
With agents and players and whatnot, managers. Yeah, you can't say there's been ambition. Obviously, there was this success relative in the Conference League a few years ago, but come on, that was in spite of everything. That wasn't meticulously planned. You see these clubs like obviously all the B's get mentioned: Brentford, Brighton, Bournemouth. They've all got a plan. They've all got a plan to improve, whether that's getting young players 7 months for profit, getting more money in the club, or whether that's Bournemouth building their new 50 million training facility that looks like a spaceship. There is no plan. There is no strategy at West Ham. It is the bare minimum to achieve Premier League survival. And quite frankly, the last couple of seasons we've achieved that through no strategy of ourselves, just through dog shit being in the league, basically. And we've been slightly less dog shit than teams that haven't been in the Premier League for 20 years.
How about yourself, Nick? What did you make of that summarization paragraph?
Well, look, it's just wibble, it's just bullshit. It really is. Charlie, you've more or less covered all the points. There is no ambition. Their ambition is only ever to stay in the Premier League. It really is. We got into Europe. Let's face it. When they got David Moyes back in for the second time, they didn't get him back in thinking that he was going to get us into Europe. They got him back in because they thought he was a safe manager that could polish a turd. I do feel personally that COVID played a big part in the kickstart of that campaign as well. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is because of the dynamic of this stadium. There's a reason why we did so well that season and other teams suffered, and that's because we don't have a home advantage, but other teams do. So they missed their home advantage. We fucking didn't, not at all. There was no sort of disgruntled fans with any of the style. There was some of the football later on with Moyes was okay, but what I'm saying is none of this was by design. Nothing ever is. They make it up as they go along. As it's materialised, and I will concede, since David Moyes has gone, you have to accept that he probably was the perfect manager to have with Sullivan and Brady, because he could put, even though he was failing and he was falling off towards the end, that's their ceiling. That's in terms of success and what they can do with anything. That was their ceiling. They lucked out with a manager that managed to sort of get some relative success in spite of them fucking around like they do. And it was only ever going to go this way. Look at what they've done. Look at what Tottenham did when they won the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
They binned off Ange. They used it as a platform to move on, push on, go out, invest, get a new manager in, be ambitious. What the fuck did we do when we've used it as a platform to dive off a cliff? That's what we've done. You know, we had a manager that only had a year left on his contract. At that point, you've either got to back him and give him a new contract, which I didn't want, and I'm glad we didn't, or you say, thanks, Dave, off you go. You've done a brilliant job. We'll put a statue up of you. You want to say first trophy for ages. And then you go again. We could have had Marco Silva. We could have been in Marco Silva. Apparently, that was virtually agreed with him. We could have been in our third season of Marco Silva now. But they didn't. They fucking just ran it into the ground. And the damage that is done when they drag their heels the way that they do, the damage it is done with players, with the values of players, with morale at that club. I mean, there's the players that we've burned through, the mass exodus in this window. You know, it's like Aguirre. Look, no one likes Aguirre, but there's a reason that bloke just didn't. Apparently, he wanted to go to Sunderland rather than play for us.
Yeah, I heard
there's some players that have had their real fill of this club. You know, there's something really badly, horribly wrong, and I suspect it's even worse than what we think. I really do. I think it's. I feel sorry for the players. I feel sorry for Bowen being duped into signing a 7-year fucking contract at this club. It's not fair. It really isn't. Everything they've done. How can they not have seen alarm bells ringing when you see stats come out 9 years into this stadium and it's a 60,000 capacity, and you see stats coming out saying 29,500 fans that bought tickets in the first season at the London Stadium now no longer go. How the fuck can that not be setting alarm bells off with that lot? But it doesn't, because they're short-termists and they're greedy, and all they think of is if you don't go anymore, Gatesy, some fucking tourist will take your seat, buy a big load of merchandise. But the thing is, right, if they're going to look at us and they're going to view us like a customer, and that's all we are, you better make sure you got a good fucking product to sell, because they haven't got a product to sell. Not at all. So if you get rid of that kind of legacy, hardcore fan that we've followed this club through thick and thin, if you even manage to break their spirit, you fucked up. Because if we were to drop out of this league now and all of those fans are gone, who's going to be filling that stadium in the Championship?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
you ain't going to get too many tourists turning up when we're in the second tier playing fucking Rotherham. That's for sure.
No, they lucked out. It's look. I had a great time. We had a great time winning in Prague. It was brilliant. But no, for me, there is no question. There's no argument. And like I said, leading into the statement that they released, I've been chatting with the Fab and with Hammers United as well. Had a bit of an insight into the statement that they issued at the meeting that everyone's been talking about, where they gave the vote of no confidence. It was fucking scathing. It was a charge sheet. They went through everything, point by point by point by point by point, stuff that I didn't even think about. And they had no answers, none. And that's why it's taken so long to go back and forth, because West Ham did not want those minutes, that statement displayed on the minutes, because they thought it might incite, unrest in the fan base. They didn't.
It's already happening.
It's already happening. But that statement, I think it's already been circulated now and it will be released, but it is scathing. They have no answers. That fucking puff piece that they put out, they haven't even tried to answer any of the issues that we've got. And I think it's exactly like Charlie said. They're not talking to us. They've given up with us. I don't think they've ever tried with us anyway. They're talking to the mainstream media. They want them back on side. And what they're hoping is that they get the mainstream media back on side with something like that. West Ham fans kick off on Saturday morning, and we're just an ungrateful rabble that cause problems. We're hooligans. I think that would be the ideal scenario for David Sullivan.
Yeah, it'd tick all the boxes as far as he's concerned.
It would, yeah,
if that happened. So
yeah.
But look, we just got to make sure that we do what we do. We get our message across, and it's really important. Anybody that's watching this, I mean, look, I'm going to be there. Nick's going to be there. I think you're going to be there, aren't you, Charlie? Obviously,
yeah,
Chris, you're in Bristol, so I'm not necessarily expecting that you're going to be there. That's fine, no problem. But we need as many people there as possible. What we don't need is some that we're all talking it up, and when push comes to shove, people that turn around and say, yeah, I'll be there, they're nowhere to be seen. So we need everybody to stick together on this one. If we're serious and we want these cunts out, then we got to fucking
it's very simple. It's very simple now. Everyone has done everything that they can at this point. There's been petitions. The work that Hammers United have done in getting all of this organised, I didn't realise how much there was involved in doing what they do. There's a lot. There's a big group of people that have worked really, really hard to get this implemented. There's future plans as well. But you know something? It will all be for nothing if the fans don't chip in now. We've got to come out in our numbers. Bring your wife, bring your husband, bring your kids, bring your fucking neighbours.
I'm going to bring my dog.
Fill your cars up. Bring them all down. If you're driving down the street, you see someone, they put their thumb up, fucking throw them in the back of the car, bring them down to West Ham to protest.
I'll go pop down to Dover and pick up a few of them.
Yeah.
Just as many people as possible. Honestly, it needs to be a real showing down there. It does. And I know that there is another protest that Cross Hammers are doing as well on the same day, which is confusing people because I'm getting messages myself saying, what's going on? You're saying meet at entrance B and they're saying meet at Stratford at this time. Don't give a fuck where you meet. Please, God, just make sure you're at entrance B for 12:45, please. Whether you're going on marches or whatever you're doing, it's all good, whatever. Please just make sure you end up at entrance B at 12:45, please.
Definitely. Well, like I say, Nick, I will probably be giving you I'll probably give you a buzz tomorrow, and we can firm up some plans and meet up for a like I say, breakfast pie and mash. It's the way forward, people.
Yeah,
it's the way forward. Right.
What time do we expect Mr. Sullivan to get in?
I reckon he's going to stay there overnight. I got a funny feeling this cunt's going to fucking go there sort of like 8 o'clock the night before. He'll have a little fucking room set up. He'll have his little
sleeping bag.
Yeah, all that shit.
Gatesy, just very quickly. Lee's just put a comment up there saying most people who would have shown some bollocks and protested don't even go anymore. I don't go anymore. I ain't going to the game tomorrow. On Saturday, I'm going to protest, and then I'm going to go to the pub.
That's exactly why Hammers United have done it at the time. Is they've done it. It's all due to finish by 2:15.
We want everyone out. Get everyone out. All the old school lot. It'd be amazing.
Yeah. And also
back off back to the pub.
And not just that. I mean, let's also not forget there's the boycott that's called for the Brentford game. That's even more important because, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a Monday night game on Sky. So if this boycott, there is en masse proper old school, dyed in the wall West Ham fans that go, we ain't setting foot in that stadium, and it's a tough thing to do because fundamentally a lot of these people have, like myself, have paid the season ticket and all the rest of it, but I'm not going and I'm not relisting that ticket. That's really important. It's all very well, I'm not going to go, but if you fucking relist it, it's like, well, if someone else turns up, what's the point?
Might as well go. There's no point relisting it. They're selling them for £1. What are you going to get back? About 80 pence?
Yeah. So, and like I say, guys, if anybody watching this is serious and about wanting these fuckers out, then we need to walk the walk and talk the talk. It's all very well sort of giving it that, but it's actions that speak louder than words.
That's another great example of they're not working with us. They're not even attempting to work with us and try and resolve matters. They know it's a lost cause now. They are doing everything they can to belittle the protests. Kids for £1 against Brentford. They know that wasn't announced until after the protest was announced. That wasn't going to happen. But yeah, kids for £1. People
I bought 5 of them. That's fine.
They're all going in the bin.
Yeah.
Oh dear, wankers. Right. Okay. Let's.
Only £5.
Yeah.
Exactly,
So the next paragraph that AI spat out of this document as a summarization. So it's new strategy and leadership. Oh, this will be an interesting one. The club highlights the appointment of Graham Potter as the new head coach and the key roles of sporting director Mark Noble. I'm just going to break off there and say, what the fuck is he doing? I mean, he's doing bits and pieces as far as the academy is concerned, I'm sure. fuck all as far as the first team's concerned. So why is it relevant anyway? Move on.
Because he's a name that might connect with someone, you know, with the fans. He's a prop. He's a prop.
Yeah, exactly. He's just there as a sort of window dressing. But anyway, move on. Head of recruitment Kyle McCauley, as part of the new strategy to improve player recruitment and on-field results. They also emphasise the importance of developing and integrating players from the club's academy. Have you ever heard such a load of old bollocks in your life? Charlie, go.
It's not strategy when you've had 4 different strategies in the space for about 5 years. What do you start off with? Moyes and can't even remember the geezer's name from Man City. We started off with that.
Rob
Pellegrini.
Rob Newman, that's the one.
Rob Newman, sorry.
Pellegrini and Huselos.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, that didn't work. So we go to fucking Lopetegui and Sullivan running the show again. And then, oh no, we don't need a director of football. Let's go to an analyst that's now head of recruitment who's never done that before in his life. Obviously, we had Stardon in there as well. Fucking, it's all over the place. It's not a strategy when you change it every 12 months. These sort of things, at clubs like Brighton, it's annoying to keep going back to the likes of Brighton, Brentford and Bournemouth, but ultimately they're the gold star of they're showing how it should be done. Certainly for clubs at our level and their level. I do think we've got bigger clubs than all 3 of those. But yeah, these things need to be put in place and given time to work. You can't throw the fucking baby out with the bathwater after 12 months and go, oh, you just brought a 19-year-old kid over from Brazil for 20 million quid. It's not worked in 6 months. You're sacked, and he's in the under 21s, and now we're going to go to a completely different model. And we had a manager with a director of football, and then we had a coach without a director of football in Graham Potter. It's all over the place. Yes, there needs to be strategic leadership. Yeah, great. Show us something by fucking off, and that's the whole point of the protest, isn't it? We've got Sullivan, who's a porn baron. His expertise in porn and fucking up football clubs. Brady's obviously been his number 2 for best part of 2 decades, probably doing the same job. There is no experts in. I don't even know the woman, but the woman that was in this bad meeting the other day, she was in the ticket office a few years ago. Now she's
Tara Warren.
Tara Warren, yeah. She was in the ticket. She could be amazing at the job. I don't know. She was in the ticket office a few years ago.
Let's face it. Anyone associated with this, yeah.
Look, we haven't got a single expert in football, in running a football club, anywhere near this football club. The closest thing we got is a silent partner who hasn't done anything for about 2 years in Daniel Kretinsky. His only expertise in it is because he's done it before.
He likes his posties.
Yeah, there is no experts in football. There's no experts in running a football club commercially. I don't know whether your AI has spat out the paragraph about commercial revenue and stuff like that, but there was a great video, and I can't remember where it was, but there was a great video on YouTube by just a random football channel. It wasn't a West Ham channel, that showed the commercial revenue for 5 years ago. We was basically on par with the likes of Villa and Newcastle. I mean, they dwarf us now. Absolutely dwarf us. And yeah, we haven't got the right people in at the top. We're not going to, but that's the idea of the protest, I guess. But yeah, nonsense.
Nick, your opinion, mate.
Strategy. Well, basically, a strategy of changing direction whenever their latest freebie fails. So they go with one style of let's just go with football style for a start. They go from one extreme to the other. You know, there's never a common philosophy at the football club, because generally that's what's set. When Charlie mentioned Brighton, you know, it doesn't really matter if the manager fucking leaves, because they'll just go and get someone else in that will fit that group of players. They don't do that. They don't. They'll go out and they'll get a new manager that requires a new team. So we get fans and we get, you know, everyone else, because we're so used to it. He's got to get his players in. This ain't his team. It's ridiculous. And the way that they recruit, it's all to do with whoever's brokering the fucking deal, wouldn't it? You need a striker. You've seen it when we're linked with right backs, left backs.
Yeah.
5 players, they're all different profiles. They're not even the same type of player. And you just end up getting whoever is whoever either is brokered by one of the favoured agents, or if somebody allows someone to be parachuted into the middle of a deal. But you've only got to go back to when Lopetegui came in. Do you remember when we had Tim Steiten here, and we bought 9 players, and they had 3 each, 3 for Steiten, 3 for Loppe, and 3 for Sullivan.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous the amount of money they have pissed up the wall. And I did see a stat, and I've seen it. It's been finalised, right? Of people that we have made profits on. So in terms of players that Sullivan has bought that we have made profits on in 15 years, he's made a profit on 4 players. 4 players.
Fucking pathetic, isn't it?
There's no strategy. There's nothing. There never has been. They make it up as they go along. His strategy is, how can I get my fucking hands on some of that money in this summer? It's all about, that's what he does. He sees the pot.
Yeah.
He sees all that Premier League money sitting there. He needs a player churn. That's why he changes direction so many fucking different times. So he gets his mate Salt in, he gets his mate Silkhouse, and he gets all these other people in. He goes, right, who can we get in? Who can we get out? We've got 120 million pound there. We'd probably get 30% of that. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That's personally what I think his strategy is, and we just fall by the wayside every time. It's bullshit. It's boring. They've killed the club. There's no strategy ever. There never has been.
No, just to pick you up on that about the having multiple players for one position, they've all got different style. One example of that was last season when the Lopetegui era got underway. That lasted well. Was when we was linked with 1 minute we're going after a young, vibrant, pacey, mobile, lethal centre forward in John Duran with potential to move on, and we end up getting a guy who's fucking 31 and bust.
That's what I mean. All different profiles. None of them are the same. It makes no sense. How can that alone just shows that there's never a strategy. And that's the thing. You can't blame Start and you can't blame Huselos. You can't blame Newman, because the fact of the matter is, we know that it all comes down. The bloke who holds the purse strings is a guy that signs off on deals. So Steiten, McCauley, whoever it is, can have this. I'm sure McCauley had a big list of players. I mean, Hermansen was one of them, so he can fuck off. I'm sure he had a big list of players, and he went in to see Sullivan, and I can guarantee you, Sullivan probably looked at that list, tried to sign a few of them, sort of tried.
Yeah.
Went through, burned as much of the window as he could, trying to sign Carl McCauley's unrealistic targets, as we was told. And then all of a sudden, he just goes out and he spends a little bit of money when he has to. But he didn't spend enough this time around, because I tell you what, it don't really matter who we get in there, be that Slav, be that fucking, well, we can't be Mourinho. Whoever they get in now, we've got too many gaps in that squad now. So I think it's going to be difficult for anyone that comes in and takes over from Potter at this point. It's going to be miserable up until January. That's what I think. It really fucked up this time.
And we coming off of the substitutes bench, a late arrival. James, how are you, sir?
All right, mate. How's it going, gentlemen? Hope everyone's all well. You know what I mean? What we're saying.
We're on the paragraph, as I say. I basically got the statement, chucked it into AI, and asked it to summarise it. And we're on, as I say, I'm looking at the paragraph, and just to sort of recap it for you. So the heading is New Strategy and Leadership. The club highlights the appointment of Graham Potter as the new head coach and the key roles of sporting director Mark Noble and head of recruitment Kyle McCauley. The first and the third names there might be out of a job before they're very much old. But carrying on, as part of the new strategy to improve player recruitment and on-field results, they also emphasise the importance of developing and integrating players from the club's academy. James, my question to you is: if you've ever heard such a load of old bollocks in all your life?
Gaslighting in his finest, mate. Exactly that. Right, he's trying to gaslight the fan base. The difference is this fan base is finally woken up and realised what the major problem is at this club, and everyone is now looking firmly in Sullivan's direction and saying, right, what you saying? You get to him through the media. That's what we've been doing. YouTube, radio, TV. Everyone's done their bit. It's going to be a fight. It's the ownership versus the fan base, and we're going to see if he can handle this. This is going to be a struggle. going to be a struggle. I don't think he's going to sack Potter anytime soon. For me, I think he's going to try and wait as long as he can. Or if Potter does fall apart, then he might chuck in Nuno in there. But I'm going to be straight. This is a fight to save West Ham United Football Club.
Do you think he'll still be here, Potter, if we lose against Palace? They'll keep him.
Listen, this break clause in this contract is the only thing that's really keeping him here to a point. Otherwise, he would have been sacked a long time ago. And if Potter goes and, just say for argument's sake, goes and draws the game, then where does it leave us? Right, it's going to drag. This is going to drag. This is going to be like a Lopetegui situation all over again, where Lopetegui should have been at the door after the Leicester game and he didn't get sacked till January the 4th.
Yeah.
Well, these managers, how many of them, because we had it with Moyes, Lopetegui and him, these last chance saloon games, our managers always do really well in these last chance saloon games, don't they? They do.
I just need us to be safe this year. That's the only thing I care about. I mean, like the football side
what
of it.
David Sullivan says at the beginning of the season, James.
Yeah, I know, but if West Ham go down, mate, it's going to destroy us.
The only thing I would say about that, and about whether I think Potter could end up going either this weekend or next or whatever, is Lopetegui was, as we all know, Sullivan's man. Sullivan wanted Lopetegui, so Sullivan brought him in. Potter was never Sullivan's man. Sullivan has made it very clear that he never really wanted Graham Potter, and he was coerced by Big Tits Brady. But he's, as I sort of showed you a few messages the other day, Rob, he's he's not telling anyone anything now. He's gone mute. But a few weeks ago, I think it was after a Chelsea game, he was replying to emails and telling anyone and everyone that had listened that he had no faith in the manager and the goalkeeper was shit. And
he didn't think that. Am I allowed to say what was on the message?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, Charlie's shown me a message which basically shines a light that David Sullivan believes that Graham Potter is not a very good tactician, and this is the guy
I've seen that message.
His wages.
Yeah.
So he's not desperate to hold on to him. He might be desperate to hold on to a bit of cash, but I think there is a little bit of a difference between the Lopetegui situation because that was his man.
Yeah, but Sullivan doesn't sack managers unless he absolutely has to, and he never has, and he never will. The Lopetegui thing was brewing up, and Lopetegui. Look how long it took him to sack Lopetegui.
Managers he don't like. He's done it with Bilic. He's done it with Pellegrini. He's done it with Lopetegui. So there's 3 in recent history.
And the thing is with Lopetegui was a nightmare from minute 1. And it took him 6 months to sack him, or 5 and a half months.
He was nowhere near as bad as this, James. This is another level shit.
Yeah, but
two home games in 2025.
Yeah, but we're going to know more in the next 2 games for me. Like if he goes and beats Palace and he gets something at Everton, then it ain't the be all and end all. Like this season for me, this season is dead. Like I think West Ham just needs to try and maintain a Premier League status right now. Like, and if we can finish mid-table, then we're over the moon with that. The biggest problem is the ownership, because if you take Potter out and you put a new manager in, is that ownership hatred going to drop? I don't want it to, mate. Like,
that's true. That's true. That's a good point.
This is this cycle. I've seen it so many times with managers and with structures. West Ham are going to win a few games, everyone goes quiet, right? But the problem is, on the pitch is shit. Off the pitch is shit, the ground shit, and this is building up. I've been saying it for a long time. Listen, like Gates has known me a long time. You've known me a while, Nick. Right? I've been saying that this is brewing up to a point of explosion. And if we get rolled on Saturday and Sullivan's there in the ground, don't be surprised if it's another Burnley situation, because it could be.
I don't think we will ever see that inside the stadium ever again, because the vast majority of the hardcore fans are no longer there.
I agree with you on that, yeah.
So we'll never see that again. He's safe. He's walked us all down. There is something else I do want to, and I know this is a divisive thing to say. I don't want us to get relegated. It wouldn't be the end of my fucking world, though. Wouldn't bother me if we got relegated. Wouldn't bother me at all. In fact, the first thing I'd do is I'd go and get my season ticket back. And let's face it, at the moment we've been skating. We are cannon fodder. We're an embarrassment in the Premier League at the moment. I fucking hate watching us getting wallops and getting whooped all the time. If we was to get relegated, I don't want us to just survive and get 17th and then go again and get 17th next year. Do you know what? You get to a stage where you don't belong to be in the Premier League anymore. Under this ownership, we don't belong to be here. We don't. So if they carry on fucking running us in this way and they don't leave and they don't sell, we don't deserve Premier League status and they don't deserve to make a big fat profit when they sell us.
If I can just, Kris, because obviously you've been sitting there quite patiently. So on the strategy and leadership paragraph that AI has condensed the document down into the statement down from the board, what have you got to say? I'm guessing probably you're aligned with the rest of us, but you might have a different point of view.
Yeah, I mean, all I was going to say, I was going to add to it, was I actually think that Sullivan will sack Potter quite easily, because he can then turn around and go, "Well, I told you so. Told you he was shit. Told you that years ago.
That's
absolute bollocks." So yeah, I think he'd be gone.
So I just find it quite interesting that they've sort of mentioned about Potter, they've mentioned about McCauley, and they're trying to sort of crow like they've got some like 15-inch cock or whatever. And it's like, these cunts could be out of a fucking job by the end of the week. What the fuck is this all about?
About McCauley, right? I mean, he can go on about having all these staff members, but at the end of the day, Sullivan's the one that's in charge of the transfers. He made that perfectly clear throughout the summer that he was the one that was in charge. So, you know, what is he, a glorified scout, you know, McCauley? Because
he's a fucking data analyst. I mean, this is it all over again. I mean, fucking Tim Stuyton was never a director of football at Leverkusen. He was a chief scout, and we've got a guy that's the head of recruitment who's a data analyst. We can constantly doing fucking things on the cheap.
Yeah, but it all goes back to the owner, mate.
Of course it does.
It all goes back to the owner. Like, it doesn't matter who you get in as data analysis manager, like assistant manager, fucking technical director. It all goes back to Sullivan. The root of the problem is Sullivan, and you've got to attack 100%. The root of the problem, right? And with cancer, because that's what he is. He's cancer. You've got to cut it out, or you've got to try and kill it before it fucking spreads. And what it is, this is what it is with Sullivan, right? We have to stand firm, stand tall. If boycotts are the solution, I think protest is one thing. It's going to get media exposure. And the super chat I put in, I do mean this when I say this. If you're out on the weekend and you're there, take a little video, tag every media outlet possible. Yeah, because you've got to get exposure on Sullivan, because Sullivan's kryptonite is bad press, because he can't. There's going
to be media there. I know that much. There's going to be media covering it.
Well, everywhere. Like, do you know what I mean? If you're on top of the overpass, where obviously Stratford is, if you're doing the walk yourself, film it, go live. Like YouTube, X, Facebook, just like basically you've got to expose this for more than what it is, right? And it will work. It will. I'm calm about this one, because I know that Sullivan hates bad press, and he's got no control over the media environment, and this is what's pissing him off, because no one's backing him. And like, when you've got thousands of West Ham fans looking at him and saying to him, "Well, what you saying now?" That's the problem. The boycotts, I think, are going to do more of the damage than the protest, though, because once the brand starts getting it, and it starts getting it consistently, and everyone starts looking at, I don't know about that, the money starts going down, that's when Sullivan's going to start crying, if I'm being honest. So, you know.
Yeah, you made a good point. Sorry, Kris. You made a good point, James. I just want to reiterate. It needs to be constant now. It needs to be, and the Hammers United have said this, it needs to be, despite whatever's going on the pitch, if we get battered at the weekend, Potter goes, Bilic comes in, whatever you think of how that will go, if he manages to use his personality to galvanise some results and we start flying up the table, the protests need to carry on. The protests are not about what's happening on the pitch.
Yeah.
The protests are about what's happening and has happened over the last decade and a half at this football club, especially the last decade since this moved to this athletic bowl.
I agree.
It needs to be consistent, and it needs to be prolonged, and it needs to be there until change happens.
But someone put something up the other day, and I thought, fucking absolute spot on in what they said. This sort of thing against the ownership doesn't feel toxic. It feels like there's people that have had enough, and when you've had enough, right, there's more people coming for this one than there's ever been. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel toxic. Listen, we've had all like the toxic times and everything, like with managers and things like that. This feels different. This feels like everyone is starting to unite and come together.
It's a positive movement to get our club back.
It is.
That's what it feels like.
Listen, like you've started the petition. I try to push the petition as much as I can with like boozers and things like that. Listen, I'm drained of Sullivan. Yeah, and I want to go back to and watch West Ham again. I've had enough of this.
Mate, they all are. Look at the amount of people that have walked away. So it's so important that it happens sooner rather than later. Because if you're a fan that's walked away this season, how many seasons can you? Let's just say that one season turns into 2, turns into 3. Are you just all of a sudden going to go straight back over there again? I don't think that's the way it works. So the longer they're here, the more that damage is going to be done. The more the damage is going to be done. That
is so true. Because what it is, it happened with me after Upton Park. First year, I was like, no. Then it's built up, and then there was 10. So you're spot on. So you're spot on with that. The difference is that we've just got to be persistent, consistent, and ruthless with this geezer. Like we've got to say that you are not fit for purpose no more. And we don't want you in anymore. And I see Simon Jordan today, and I don't mind Simon Jordan to a point. I think some of the stuff he comes out with is right and wrong. But today, when he done the video on Talk Sport, I completely disagree with him. Like he's trying to make West Ham fans out to be that we're asking, entitled sort of thing. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not buying that shit. I've heard that shit so many times.
He hates fans and agents and players. That's what he hates. You know,
he's an expert running football clubs into the ground. So
yeah. Did you see what Troy Deeney posted earlier on? Yeah. What he said? It's really good. But it's worrying, right? So going back to what you were saying before, Rob, on the first part where you talk about strategy, you couldn't disagree with anything that he said. I mean, he finished on managers, but he went through and he said West Ham are just buying losers. He said they are. He said you're talking about mentality. He said you bought Hermansen, a goalkeeper that's used to losing, used to conceding. You've bought Kyle Walker-Peters, a player that's used to losing, used to conceding. Even Fernandez used to losing, used to you know. And then he said your managers as well. Look at them. And the other thing he sort of went on to say was he said none of them have really none of the last 4 or 5 managers that we've had have been West Ham managers. That he said he's really quite complimentary about the West Ham fan base. But he said they need to feel a connection with the people at their club. And he said they've got it all wrong with the last 4 or 5 managers. But the more poignant point, when you consider how we're struggling this season, you know, he went out and he got a sports psychologist to teach some of these players to have a winning mentality. You can't turn losers into winners just like that. You might be able to bring 1 or 2 into a really successful environment, and that might sort of bleed into them. Because you know, like winners, if you've got like players like Ronaldo and all these top players, they can't tolerate losing at all, ever. It's unacceptable. But you've got some of these players that are just, you must just get fucking used to it in the end. If all that happens is you get battered every week, your mentality must shift. Yeah. And that's what we've got. We've got a team full of fucking losers.
And just sort of desensitized to it. It's like, we're shit and we accept it. And it's like, that's not fucking acceptable.
One thing I will say on the protest on Saturday, whatever protest you're going to, you can't cause no grief. You can't.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, because what it is, I think Sullivan's waiting for that. You got to think like how he's thinking. And I know it's mad what I'm saying, but you've got to look at it and behave yourself and don't get in any grief, don't get nicked, don't cause anything that makes the protest look bad, because Sullivan will use that to his Arsenal, mate. It wouldn't surprise me if he's got people out there with like cameras looking and waiting.
It will absolutely have.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Let's have a look at the next paragraph. So let's get stuck into this. I'll start with you, Kris. So infrastructure and facilities is the heading. So the statement details significant investments in training facilities for the men's, women's and academy teams. It also addresses fan feedback about improving the match day atmosphere at the London Stadium, noting that work is underway with fan groups to introduce initiatives like fan zones and TIFOs. What could be better than TIFOs, I hear you ask? Brilliant. Kris, go.
Right. Well, first of all, about as I said earlier, about they spent 4 million on the training facilities to improve them, but yet all the other clubs have spent 10 times that at least, if not more, on theirs. So that's bollocks. As for the stadium, you cannot physically make it any better in there.
Nope.
You know, there's no way of doing it. You're too far away from the pitch. It's just not built for football. It's awful. I mean, the atmosphere is tinny in there. It's terrible. Too many tourists for a start. You know, when I came with you, Rob, at that time to watch the game, you started singing at the back and couldn't get a song going.
Nope.
Absolutely shocking.
I've had that for 9 fucking years, mate. 9 fucking years.
Absolutely
it's got worse every
shit.
year.
You know, I mean, you could go. We went to Upton Park. I mean, I'm Bristol, so I didn't go that very often. But when I went out to Upton Park, to get a song going, no problem. You know, Mexican waves, all sorts going on over there. This lot, I mean, half the fucking people don't even know the songs that were sat around by us.
Do you know
That's why they put the words up on the screen.
Yeah, exactly that.
Karaoke.
What I had on against Tottenham, right? Do you know when I've just got this sixth sense? It's really uncanny. Of that's not a West Ham fan. I just, my spider sense gets tingling. Someone walks along. I've not seen them before. They just look out of place, and it's like they're not West Ham fans. I'm going to lay money they're not West Ham fans. They might not be a fan of another club, but they're not West Ham fans. And I was watching these two characters that were just sat to my left. And a little bit later in the game, towards the end, the game's finished. We're down to 10 men. We're 3-0 down. Half the fucking stands are empty. Nobody gives a shit. And I just sort of glanced over at this guy, and he wasn't interested in the game on the pitch at all. I don't know why he was still in the fucking stadium, quite honestly. And he's on his phone, and he's on YouTube. And I thought, is he subscribed to the West Ham Massive? And he's on fucking Arsenal Fan TV, the cunt. I mean, that's just beggars belief. It's like West Ham, Tottenham, and I'm standing next to an Arsenal fan. Brilliant. Fantastic.
You get Premier League supporters in there. You get neutral fans that will just go over there to watch a game. That's what you get. You know,
I think you're all being out of order. Have you not seen the new benches they put on the trampoline?
The benches that they've... Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes. I go down there every fucking half time. Yeah. Top of block 203. Brilliant.
Haven't they got a dodgy pub there as well now? Is that what you're all about, the dodgy pub?
Yeah, the Brewdog bar.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's just what we've all been waiting for, isn't it? You know, fucking hell. Ridiculous. Anyway, let's go to you, James. What do you think about that paragraph? Infrastructure and facilities, all that money that they've spent on the stadium and on the training facilities is brilliant, isn't it?
And it's on. What else? Ford United. Yeah. 4 million £4 for like a National League semi-pro sort of arena. Nah, it's just crap, mate. It's just crap. Like, it ain't happening, mate. It ain't happening. One thing I did hear is about the stadium, which I don't buy that one either. We're saying that we should be grateful for the stadium and all, which is a bit of a piss take. But I make mine short and sweet. Just a load of old pony, if I'm being honest. Do you know what I'm saying?
How about you, Nick? You impressed?
Yeah. I mean, look, they talk about improving things with the supporters. I don't know. There's been engagement with certain fan groups. Look, and I'm not going to criticise anyone that's trying to do something in there, and we know that they are. They're generating a bit of an atmosphere, before the game. Ironworks Alliance, they're working with Brady. We've got flags, we've got tifos and stuff like that. That's just not West Ham for me. Like I said, credit to them. Do what you got to do in there. But everything about that place just feels manufactured and fake. And so is that, in my opinion. If you've got to force it, when you go to football, it's emotional. You're connected to it. You're connected to what's going on the pitch and you react. That's just not my sort of thing. And I don't think that will ever really catch on. The other problem that I've got with it is what we really need at the moment inside that stadium. And going back to what James was saying about having another Burnley. Well, if you've got a big organisation or a fan group that are there to create a positive atmosphere, they're not going to turn that into the ferocious atmosphere that you would need to get a movement going against the ball. They ain't going to be singing balled out songs, are they? So that's the problem. So everything about what they do for me. Not Thames, like I said to you, this is desperation. These are groups of fans over there that just thought, we've got to do something. We've got to do so shit in here. We've got to do something, and they're trying. But it's so shit. It's so shit. It's so fake. It's wank.
I did have a geezer from Irons Work Alliance on E20 the other week, and even he said he's fighting against Brady on certain issues. Like, even with banners, you can't even bring a banner in there. It has to be checked. And basically, any banner to do with Sullivan, you're instantly banned and your ticket's gone. So basically, he's got the place locked down.
He's like fucking Kim Jong-un, isn't he? So is that true? Is that honestly what he said? So you go in there with Sullivan's a cunt on the banner.
If you go in
they'll
there,
take your ticket off you. I mean, what's wrong with that?
If you go in there with, just for argument's sake, a Sullivan and Brady out banner, and they're going to have people come there and basically identify you and then revoke your ticket. That's what it is.
Fucking hell. How bad is that?
Why do you think you never really see any banners at home games? It's always away.
Oh, no. Well, they generally won't let you in with them. They fucking, that's all them security people are there for. They ain't there for knives. They're there to see if you got a Brady out fucking pair of pants on.
Wrong T-shirt, and it's like, all the fucking people in the away end that turn up and they've got flares and fireworks and all that shit. Don't worry about that. Knock yourself out.
See, the thing is it a bit of a different generation though? Like, because obviously, like tifos and all that, I'm not even into that. I'm a bit old. I'm old-fashioned like that. Do you know what I mean? But like, is it just the modern day now that the game's changing a little bit and they're trying to go with the times? If I'm being honest,
I think there's a little bit of that. I think is. I mean, I don't know. I'll still bring a rattle, boys. I got to tell you, still bring the old, Al Garnett job.
Well, you ain't gonna have your half and half scarf, mate, because Sullivan wants that in the shops.
Mate, you know what? I look at grown adults. I mean, I can understand if it's a little kiddie, their first game. I get it. I could even get behind and understand someone, a grown adult, going to Prague and getting a 50-50 scarf there. I'd get that. I'd understand it. I didn't do it myself, but I would understand it. Why would you go to a game between, I don't know, West Ham and Brentford? Let's just pick that out. West Ham and Brentford. Why would you turn up to London Stadium and buy a fucking scarf where 50% of it is a team you don't fucking like?
Yeah, I know.
Well, because it's not 50%, it's 100%.
Well,
it's true.
It's fans that don't support either team that are just marking their first trip to London from far and wide across the globe in London for the weekend. Oh, where can we get a ticket for a game of football? Oh, surprise, Chelsea can't get a ticket. Arsenal can't get a ticket. Tottenham can't get a ticket. Who's giving away tickets for the price of a pack of Smarties? Oh, West Ham.
We go there. We can watch ABBA after. But with the Ironworks Alliance, where they're going to struggle, because I suppose, look, it could work, right? So if they were to, for instance, because it's all very well them getting down in the concourse and creating this amazing atmosphere, but then they go up into the stadium and they're all fucking split up and they're gone. So on the, like if you look at Palace, if you go to Palace, you've got all the fucking ultras all down one end. We take the piss out of them, but they're all in one place. They're all making a noise. It's a fucking racket, So maybe if they did that, if they got all of those people, try and change the way it's configured in there, so you've got a singing area, and then you will have a lot of noise coming from one part of the stadium, and then I ain't got to sit under a fucking tifo because they can all go and sit in there.
I agree with you on that. But the only problem that we've got is in the ground itself. You could be sitting next to a football fan but not a supporter, and like you're never going to generate an atmosphere with a geezer who supports Liverpool or Man United.
But they need to have a neutral zone now to sort that out, to clean it up. They're going to have to literally. I would be in favour of when the next owner comes in, whoever that is, saying wherever you're sitting now, we're basically going to reconfigure the entire fucking stadium now. It's being done. So there needs to be some sort of background checks or tests on fans that are over there. Look, he's had a ticket for fucking 15 years. He's definitely a West Ham fan. Try and figure out some way where you can get and then get people spotted. So once that season's underway, make it stipulate if you are not a West Ham fan, if you're a neutral, you go in this fucking zone. If it's found that you're sitting in a home supporter zone, you will be moved. Your ticket, you won't have your ticket revoked, but you'll be fucked off over there, and your ticket will be. They're going to have to try and reconfigure it in there because it's a mess, and they've diluted it on purpose because of what happened at Burnley, James. They've diluted it on purpose because they don't really want all of the big noisy fans together because it's a problem for them. So that fucking quiet, you can hear a pin drop environment is perfect for them.
I completely agree. Like the dilution of the fan base has been going on for years and is starting to sort of show right now. And when people are walking out, and there is still fans who sort of criticise fans for walking out. Like I see it the other day, and I was like, "For fuck's sake, mate!"
I would have been gone on 60 minutes, 65 minutes the other
day. Against Tottenham, I think as soon as Souček would have got sent off and that second goal would have went in, I'd have went, "Yeah, let's go in the pub and have a pint."
I'm a lunatic. I'm a glutton for punishment, boys. I stay right to the bitter end.
I never used to. This is a new thing, so I've never left early at Upton Park.
Yeah,
and I didn't in the first few seasons at that place because I had a season ticket for at least 5 years there. But I'd say the last 2 seasons I did. I just started. I was sat there thinking, why am I even here for a start? It was just shit. And then before long, I was leaving early. I was just.
I think it come from the Arsenal game. Like this is like a little trend with West Ham. I've noticed it when we lost to Arsenal 6-0. Yeah, everyone evacuated early, like 45 minutes after the ground was empty. Then there was other games sort of over the last sort of 2 years where we've been hammered and people just walking out like and just leaving and not staying to the end. And listen, I respect anyone who stays to the end, but it's just not like it's like I'll be honest, Rob, I do because like, you know what I mean.
I am that guy.
Right, like you're a better man than me, but you know at the end of the day, it's like everyone's got their own sort
really,
of
James,
feel.
when you've been beat 6-0 and you've paid your money to go over there. Yeah. You've earned the right to stay there until 90 fucking minutes and then collectively 60,000 people turn and face that fucking ball and cunt them off for about half an hour straight. That's what should happen. But the fight and the spirit has been drained from this club because that's what would have happened before. It's what would have happened.
I don't remember at Upton Park where I would see an evacuation after about 60 minutes. No. I just, if like you are older than me, I don't remember it. I don't like. I remember us getting like hammered against like Manchester United's Ferguson team in like numerous times, and Wenger's teams and Jose's teams, and like I don't remember us getting like people leaving like sharp.
Look, and it weren't all sunshine and roses at Upton Park. It weren't. You know that this much is true. You know, so we've had some real fucking shit football over there, but it was so different. I mean, when you're shit in this place, you just feel lost. You just feel empty. Yeah. You feel. Whereas when you was at Upton Park, I don't know. I don't even really feel any. And this is why I can understand it because I felt it myself. So even though I said it on the show the other day, you know, that was a really upsetting sight was to see fans walking out on 65 minutes with their heads down, trudging out. I know that feeling. That would never happen at Upton Park because for some reason it got you different in there. You'd have been angry. You'd still be emotional, but your emotions would change. You'd be emotionally charged. You'd be angry. Do you know what I mean? But this place, it drains your emotions. That's what it does.
And it's still there because you see it at away games. We last season we got battered at Fulham 5-0. Yeah, I think it was probably one of the best away ends all season I was in.
Gallows humour.
Take the piss out of ourselves. There was more songs coming from the away end than the home end. So. Yeah, it is still there. Whether it's not in the home fan base and the people that are going to these away games are just away fans now, I don't blame them. There's a big part of me that have had this conversation with Rob. The only reason I got the season ticket this year is to still go to away games because they're the ones I enjoy. So maybe it is a totally different fan base. But the only thing I would say about the Ironworks Alliance is they're obviously trying to do something.
They're trying.
Yeah, and credit to them. I think, to be fair, I was there at the Lille game and I went down there just to see what the crack was, and there was a good atmosphere in the concourse. But as you say, they're not everyone in that concourse there, and they're not sitting together. They're all spread around this vast, ridiculously big stadium that's filled mostly with non-West Ham fans and West Ham fans that don't really want to contribute to the atmosphere. doesn't make a difference in the stadium. It's just
And how must that feel if you've worked that hard an hour before kickoff, building up that atmosphere, and then you go up into that stadium and it's just gone and it's dead? Because it's that kind of tribalism that you feel when you go to away games. There is nothing like it. When you go away, you're all tight knit, you're all packed in together. You're on someone else's turf. You're making loads of fucking noise. It's a brilliant, very nostalgic feeling that I get whenever I go to an away game. It
Feeling
kind of
the
reminds.
camaraderie.
Yeah, exactly that. You just don't get any of that at home. Nothing at all.
No.
It's like when you go to take your seat in that place, it's like it's not like you're going to a football match, it's like you're sitting down to watch a show. You know? You're sitting down, you take your seat, and it's a really shit fucking show. It's shit.
Are you just say it's quick, Chris? Yeah. I say it's more like an event. Like it's not a show, it's an event. You go into an event, you watch the event, you come home from the event, and that's it. It's just that's all it is. Go on, mate.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say I spoke to quite a few people that left early, over the last few games, and the majority of them say that it's not just the performance, but it's also the there's nothing worse than losing and then getting stuck in that fucking stop-start system as well. It makes it so much worse. Half the reason why people leave is so they can fucking avoid that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking hate it, mate.
The whole experience is dog, isn't it? It is.
Yeah.
And I'm the same.
It says something. Sorry, Robert. It says something that driving 8 hours or 6 hours up to Sunderland, getting battered 3-0, driving 6 hours home for an 18-hour round trip that we did. I enjoyed that fuck loads more than
a good day out.
Yeah. I enjoyed that a hell of a lot more than any of the home games for the last year and a half.
Yeah. And I can empathise, and obviously I was with Charlie in Sunderland, and same sort of thing. It's like I went from where I live in Dartford, drove all the way up to Sunderland, watched that.
It's a long fucking drive, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
But I drove up there. I mean, my hat's off to Charlie because he drove up there and back in the same fucking day, and I was like, "How on earth did you do that?" But he did it. I drove up there, watched the. I mean, yeah, the second half was just an absolute abomination of a performance. I can't lie. And I stayed in a Holiday Inn Express in Leeds. I drove back part of the way, stayed in Leeds overnight with my son, came back the morning. That was when Brady had that interview on TalkSport. It was that morning I was driving back from Leeds. And
just what you
again, same. Hear. No, it wasn't. It just made me even more cross. But and this is the thing, I genuinely last season, and Charlie will know this, I genuinely agonized about whether to get a season ticket, and I've had a season ticket for yonks, but I genuinely wrestled with, am I going to ditch it? Is this when I finally go, enough's enough? And the only things that really stopped me, I sort of like, I worked out in my head a list of reasons why to keep the season ticket, and I sort of went, okay, well, I'm going to spend time with me kids. That's a win, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to spend time with friends like Charlie and whoever else is going to the games and whatever that I bump into from time to time. So that's a win. It gets me out of the house. That's a tick in the box. Thank you very much. A couple of beers, a little bit of a sing song. It's fine. Gets access to the away games. Really, that's an absolute big tick in the box. I love the away game, same as Charlie. And then I sort of sit there and I go, yeah, but then I've got to suffer the home games, which year on year, the atmosphere is getting more and more stunted. I'm getting surrounded more and more. And I referenced this story. I'm sure you've heard it, Charlie. The game against Leicester last season, we score a goal to go 2-0 up. And about 10 rows in front of me, there's 3 Japanese students. And one of these cunts is wearing a Brighton shirt. And nobody said anything.
Well, welcome to franchise football.
Hate it. Absolutely hate it.
That's what it is. Franchise football, mate. That's what it is. It's a shame.
Anyway, Charlie, I don't think you've had your say on the infrastructure and facilities paragraph.
I think you lads have covered it mostly. I mean, the fact that they say 4 million as if it's a good thing, they're so out of touch that they're saying we've spent all this money on the training facilities. We've spent 4 million. I don't know how true this is, but I saw a reply to that somewhere. I can't remember where, but apparently that was in 2018, 2019, that 4 million investment in the training facilities. So if that's true, then, well, that's 6 years ago now, 7 years ago now. That's not, put that over per year, and you're not even £1 million per year. But anyway, beside the point, yeah. But they actually say we spent £4 million on the training facility as if it's a good thing. Surely people at the club, probably not Sullivan, because Brian McCanty doesn't come out of his house. But you think Brady's been in football long enough that she'd have contacts and she would have had meetings at training grounds across the Premier League and with other clubs. Like, they must see that what fans have been saying for so long, that we are so far down behind the times against our competition in the Premier League, but also a lot of EFL clubs. The fact that we've got EFL clubs, like obviously Burton's a special case because they got basically the England training facilities, but you've got clubs like Fleetwood, and there's loads of examples in the Football League. Our facilities have nothing on their part, and the fact that obviously this is not necessarily directly Brady and Gold Sullivan's fault, because it was the case before they joined, but they've done nothing about it over the last 15 years. The fact that we've still got 3 training grounds and everyone's apart. The kids are different, separate to the men's team, and the women's team are over in wherever. I get confused with which one's which. But we've got portal cabins across 3 different sites. None of them really up to scratch. Actually, from having a bit of a look into it earlier, the academy looks like the one that's had the most investment and is the most impressive.
The one at Chadwell Heath.
Yeah. From the outside, anyway. I've not seen it, but that looks the most impressive. But even that's not. It's still not on the level of what Tottenham have just built or what Bournemouth have just built. We're so far behind the time. So yeah, they say the 4 million like it's a thing of pride. That's probably having worked with the company Portal Cabin and their competition quite a lot. I mean, that's probably about 15 portal cabins, which we've probably got across 3 different sites. So it's just maintenance and renewal of them.
It's a porter palace. It's not a porter cabin.
I was going to actually say just down the road for me is literally it's a 10-minute drive for me is Bristol Rovers training ground, and it is so much better than what we got. And they spent about 25 million on that about 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm.
You know, and then what they League One, so.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so if you've got a League One club that's spending 25 million quid on their training facilities, then I would argue that if you're a Premier League club, and a Premier League club of the length of tenure that we've been, because they keep banging on about that, don't they? Let's have it right. They keep going, oh, it's our second longest tenure as a top flight wankers. Fucking spending, 25 million quid for a League One club. You bastards should be spending an awful lot more.
It's so important, though. It's so important, though, because that's the place of work for the players.
Yeah. Where they go every day.
Literally, where they go every single fucking day. And honestly, it must be. When they buy players, I bet they don't take them anywhere near that fucking training ground.
No,
I bet it's over the
stadium.
Yeah. And it must be a shock. It must be like, what the fuck is this? Where I'm going to here? If they've come from any other decent clubs.
Yeah.
Go full circle. This is my point about this message to, what have they titled it as? A message to all West Ham supporters. This wasn't a message to us because going back to the stadium, they've said about 62,000 fans attend it or going there every week.
Oh yeah,
we know that's bollocks. There's been freedom of information requests over the last few seasons that tell us on average 10,000 people don't turn up every game. So at very best, you're talking 52.5, 55,000 in there every game. 10% of them probably, or 10, not 10%, 10,000 of them probably are not even West Ham fans or even probably Premier League fans. So this is my point about, it's not really a message to us. It's putting lines out there that sound good, that can go onto the national newspapers, and journalists can put, oh, they got the second biggest attendance in the Premier League. It's not true. It's just outright lies.
Well, there's that trick that they use, isn't there? Where if someone's bought a ticket, whether they go through the turnstiles or not, they count that as that person as that they've attended. I mean, do you remember going back to the dying days of the Arsene Wenger reign? And you had this situation where Arsenal fans, I think it was after the League Cup final when they got humped by Man City, and it was from that point on, if I remember correctly, a lot of Arsenal fans just decided not to go because they were like, we want this cunt out. And you'd had this situation where you're looking on the telly and you're going, oh, bloody hell, it doesn't look like there's many people that have gone there. And you listen to the attendance and they go, today's attendance is 60,000. And you'd go, sorry, what?
And I mean,
that's what they're doing.
To be fair to them, all clubs do it like that. So I'm not saying they're not doing anything every club isn't doing, but that's official attendance figures. They don't care about that. When they're putting a statement out there, supposedly to supporters, saying 62,500 fans go every week, well, it's just lies because they know it's not true. We know it's not true.
It'd be interesting to see what they put out on the Brentford game when there's a boycott, because like when there's no end, yeah, if it's 60,000, they say that, and it must all be fucking invisible men.
Yeah. I mean? Just before we move on from the infrastructure, the best line in there that made me chuckle was, we believe the biggest strength for the men's first team training facility at Rush Green is the unique intimate atmosphere. You just said it's shit without saying it's shit. You said it's small, it's tacky, it's old, and it's shit.
Stinks of piss.
Yeah. That did make me laugh.
Yeah. Right, let's have a little look at the fourth paragraph. As I say, this is basically the AI summarization of the document because I'm a lazy fucker. So financial stability is the next heading, guys. So this could be interesting. The club reassures supporters of its stable and sustainable financial position, noting that it operates within the Premier League's financial rules. It points to over £450 million in spending on new players over the last 3 years as evidence of ambition and not a lack of it. James, I think you might have a little bit to say on this, won't you?
He's fucking chatting, isn't it, mate? Gio done a good video earlier on. Shout out to him about the net spend, and I think he summed it up. Literally knocks it out the park. It ain't 450 million. When you take out the Rice money and all that, I think it works out about 77 million pounds that West Ham have spend each year. It's just lies. That's what it is. And what it is, these lies are getting exposed each time. So I make mine short and sweet. It's just lies. It's just them trying to make out they're trying to glamorize what they've done when they haven't done a lot. And it's proving it when people like Gio and other people are sort of picking apart the argument, who are more intelligent than me and basically seeing exactly what is really going on. So yeah, that's what I say on that, mate. Lies.
How about you, Kris?
All I can say is when it comes to their finances, I mean, how many other clubs pay off loans by getting out another loan? You know, I mean, they must all the money we make must actually be going on the interest rates because it's ridiculous. I don't get how you can run a business like that. I'm sure all clubs do have loans, but I'm sure they don't just like get another loan to pay the old loan off. It's ridiculous.
Get a credit card to pay off that credit card debt, and then get another credit card to pay off that credit card debt, and so on and so on and so on. It's like, what the actual fuck? Charlie, what do you make of that? Our financial statement as per 450 million quid. Wonderful. What benevolent owners. What think you?
Yeah, I mean, just to the fact they've spent money doesn't mean they've spent it wisely. And we've seen over the last few years that they haven't spent it wisely. So fine, you can piss around money all you want, but if you're splashing it away like a drunken sailor, it doesn't really show you in the best light. So what they're saying, is it factually true? Probably not. And I think I watched the same video that Gio did earlier and he called it out, and Nick said a similar thing at the start of this video. So actually it's not factually true what they've said. But anyway, I should give them a pass and saying it is true. What are you really saying is you've spent a load of money and we're still dog shit and we still can't get a win to save our life. So you're just backing up the fact that we've spent it badly. The leadership and recruitment of the football club is a mess, and goes to disprove all of your other points that you tried to make in the statement. So yeah, it was nonsense.
How about you, Nick? What did you make of the statement?
Yeah, well, it's pure fiction. I mean, what Geo did was Geo incorporated the summer of 2022 season, which was the window where Daniel Kretinsky pumps in £100 million. That wasn't part of what Brady was talking about. She was talking about the last three windows, which is obviously this window. You got the summer 2025, you got January 25, summer 24, January 24, summer 23, January 23. In that 3 years, we've spent 386 million. Nothing like what they've suggested that we've spent. And the average net spend works out to 38.4 million per season. And that's in line with smaller clubs like Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford, Fulham and Palace. So that is literally where we are, because we obviously had that. We had the £100 million there as well, but we're the £100 million from Declan Rice. But in the last three, from the summer, from January 2023 to the summer of 2023 and onwards, we've got a net spend of £38.4 million per season. Now, if it isn't that, obviously that takes into account transfer fees. If it's way more than that, let's just say it's 60 or 70, well, then you're talking agent fees, aren't you? And then you're talking something really fucking crooked's going on there, as far as I'm concerned, because where is that money going exactly? If that's all we're spending year on year, don't forget, you know, we've had 3 years in Europe.
Yeah,
we sold Declan Rice for 100. How the fuck can we be skint? And going back to that, you know, all the palaver that we've seen this season, with us being skint and having to get loans out and payday loans and stuff like that, as we've already mentioned. How can that possibly be when we've only spent 38.4 fucking million nets in the last 3 years? How is that possible? It's not possible.
Madness. Charlie, you've just sent me this on WhatsApp. Do you want to give us an explanation of what this is all about?
Yeah, I mean, it was that video I alluded to earlier, and it was, I'll shout the channel out, HITC7s, because I thought it was a really good video about West Ham, but it clearly wasn't for a West Ham fan. But it was, they talk about ambition, they talk about pumping money in and spending money. Well, we've, just by this graph, obviously we're nowhere near money in from the owners, anywhere near Newcastle, Brighton, Villa, Fulham. There's a load of other clubs as well. But we know that as fans. The mainstream media perhaps don't know, and that's the point, isn't it? But they don't pump in money. They don't want to spend their own money. There isn't that ambition there. And there's actually a second one I sent you that sort of highlights that point that was spoke about earlier.
This one. In
it, comparing 2018 to, I think this is last season or season before, actually. Obviously, 2018, we're miles ahead of Villa in terms of revenue. Newcastle, we're ahead of. I think this may have been Villa's season in the Championship. So a bit of a skewed graph there, but still, it just goes to show, whilst we've stayed still and we've had this fantastic new stadium, moved to the world-class facility that's going to get us loads more money and bring us a world-class team in a world-class stadium, we've stagnated whilst everyone else has improved their revenues, got themselves together, and just dwarfed us, just moved past us, and we're just lagging behind. And Newcastle and Villa are two examples, obviously teams that are doing well now. Let's not forget, within the 14 years that they're talking about being in the Premier League, Villa and Newcastle both spent time in the Championship. And then Newcastle spent time in the Championship on two occasions.
Yep.
Obviously, they've had the new owners, but we're getting surpassed by teams that a lot of people would argue Newcastle and Villa are bigger than anyway, but whatever. Go Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford, back to the Bees. On the pit, they're clubs that are nowhere near the size of West Ham, with all due respect.
Crystal Palace and all.
Crystal Palace, yeah.
in 18 months, Crystal Palace won 2 trophies.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Nowhere near the size of clubs that West Ham are and should be, but they've just surpassed us because we are run so badly in all facets of running a football club. But yeah,
And yet,
that was
this statement makes it look like we're run like a competent and sustainable business. But this, it's a load of old bollocks, really. Sorry, Nick.
It does. I don't know if any of you saw the article in the Telegraph yesterday where they went on to talk about this, because we're screwed when you consider that we're run the way that we're run. You know, as I said earlier on, we've only made profit on 4 players that Sullivan has bought in 15 years, which is fucking absolutely shocking. So we're hemorrhaging money.
I'm guessing one of them is Rice, is it, Nick?
No, we didn't buy him. Players that he's bought, yeah.
Who are those 4 players, just out of interest?
It's Kudus. I can't remember now. It's Kudus. Who was the striker that we bought that we sold to?
Jordan Hugo, is it? Is Jordan Hugo or Ashley Fletcher? Is it
Fletcher's one of them. Yeah, there's not many. Like I said, there's 4 of them.
Fucking hell, Fletcher, mate.
I know, but when you are West Ham, because the situation that we're in, what the Telegraph revealed was that when we moved into that stadium, it was a deal of the century. You know, the rent was around about 10 million less than the running costs, and it was a deal of the century. What's happened in the 10 years since is the other clubs have figured out ways to maximise their match day revenue within the stadium, and they've all grown. We can't grow. There's nothing that we can do. And the graph that they put up, which is damning, which shows that we are now never going to ever catch Spurs. They make on average £87 per person, per fan, per match day. That's basically their. We make 27. That's what we make. We are basically, in terms of match day revenue, what we make per person, per fan, per game, we're on par with Crystal Palace, and they've got half the capacity. On top of that, you've got Tottenham who own their stadium, so they can go out, they can get fucking, they can have boxing in there, they can have concerts, they can get all of that extra income. We can't catch them commercially at all because we are locked into this shit stadium where we can't even have our women play football. There's nothing that we can do. Unless they buy that stadium, there is nothing that we can do. So the only way that West Ham can make any money is playing staff, is bringing youth players through, maybe trying to develop them and do what we did with Declan Rice. That's the only way that West Ham could even consider catching up with these other clubs that are in the top 4. They have completely and utterly fucked us. We would have been better off staying at Upton Park. Financially, way better off. Way better off.
I agree.
This has not helped us at all. It was all a fucking lie.
Property deal, though, isn't it? That's what it was. It was all just a straightforward replace Upton Park, and it proved it what Brady said on that Sunday supplement when it would have been impossible. No, it would have been harder, but not impossible, and that was enough. That was enough for me to say, we know what you was doing. It's a mess, man.
The plans were there, though. I don't know if you guys remember, but before we got relegated under Glenn Roeder, I remember seeing the plans for a reformatted version of Upton Park when I think it was around about 45,000, something like that.
They couldn't knock down the bus garage. They couldn't do this. They couldn't do that.
Yeah,
could they?
Where's
the fucking bus garage gone now? Then
the plans were there, but West Ham. I think did they sell Rio because of it, or Lampard? Someone they sold someone big to try and generate the funds for it.
I think we sold Rio for
18. I think it was.
We built the Dr. Martin stand.
Dr. Martin's,
which everybody said was the Rio stand, didn't they?
Yeah. But
obviously, leaving Upton Park was a terrible decision. Having said that, even if we did leave Upton Park, it's still been a shit show since that decision to leave Upton Park. It could have been made. It's been shown by other clubs that Tottenham, for example, unfortunately, we have to use them as an example.
Yeah.
Everton, not been up there, but will be up there in a couple of weeks. Their new stadium from the outside looks really good. We'll see. But a new stadium can be done well, and it can be done to
the migration was a disaster, wasn't it?
Improve the club, but it's just been handled from start to finish. I'm talking 2010.
Yeah, but Yeah, but he played the fan base though, Charlie. What Sullivan done is he played the fan base like a fucking violin, and especially the E13 community. Like if I look at everyone in like a mile radius of Upton Park, he played everyone against each other, and even tried to bung people money to say to sort of promote it. Do you know what I mean? All the pubs are going. The pie mash shop went. There's not a community feel with West Ham anymore. That's my issue.
It was all sold the dream, and obviously none of it came to fruition.
Well, I remember. I mean, I'm not being funny, guys. I mean, there were people that were involved in promoting and proclaiming how great this move would be, who probably now reflect on it. And I'm going to name two that straight off the top of my head I remember quite distinctly. Sir Geoff Hurst himself and Ray Winstone. Now, I dare say that they probably now sit there and go, what the fuck were we duped into believing? What fools we were. And I say that with the greatest of respect, because they're two, you know, in the case of Sir Geoff Hurst, you know, he's the only guy in history to have scored a hat-trick in a World Cup winning team. I know Mbappe did it, but they didn't win the World Cup, so fuck him. And two of them were penalties.
But, you know, like everyone just got sold down the river. Do you know what I'm saying? And this has been a sort of period of time where everyone started to sort of draft away. Like, do you know what I mean? And the thing is, over the last 5 years, you've noticed it in the amount of people that are not renewing their season tickets. And then obviously 29,000, I think it read, people have walked away. That is an alarming rate.
Before this season, wasn't it? So that's probably going to be
loads more now, mate. I now know substantially more people that were season ticket holders at Upton Park that now no longer go than those that do.
Well, what was that? 56,000
customers. There's new customers, Nick.
I know.
I mean, there was 56,000 season ticket holders when we first moved, wasn't there? Well, well over half of those are gone. That should be a damn indictment of the club, but they just get replaced, so they don't care.
I mean, if you go through the charge sheet of everything that they've done, it's mind blowing how bad what they've done to this club. You know, it's mind blowing that there's anything left at this stage, really, and that we do still have some diehard fans that are still going over there and they're still suffering it. And there's, you know, and all credit to them. There's still a lot. There ain't a few. There's still a lot that are over there that are diluted amongst all those fucking third party fuckers that are over there with their half and half scarves. There's still a lot of fans that are going over there.
We see it every time the away tickets go on sale. I think this season, last season killed me a little bit because I had the little one and I couldn't go as much. But away tickets are going at like 20 odd points plus for every single game this season. Like, there's still an appetite for away games anyway. So there is still that core fan base there. It's just it's so diluted in that ground. It's hard to create anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting worse season by season, isn't it, Charlie? I mean, you and I have discussed this, and I can't see it changing anytime soon. But we'll get into the final paragraph, guys.
Change it would go down.
Yeah, it definitely would. But I think that would be an absolute catastrophe. I really do. I know that the sort of like the yeah, but the thing is, Nick, the only thing,
close it up with tears. You'd have all the fucking tourists gone. And all you'd have in there is hardcore fucking West Ham fans making a racket in the bottom tier. Fucking bring it on. It would actually be a pleasure to go over to that stadium again. It'd be a pleasure to go over there again.
But do you think we could generate anything like an atmosphere?
100%. Well, if you had everyone together, you had 20,000 fans to get. I mean, look. You've only got to look at the away support. If you've got 3,000 or 4,000 fans packed, condensed together in a big stadium away, when you're on TV, all you can hear is those 4,000 fans.
Yeah.
So of course you could, if you've got proper fans in the bottom tier. If it ever happened, look, I hope it don't happen. But all I'm saying is, if it did happen, there'd be a part of me that would be smiling at the fact that Sullivan's investment had just gone up in fucking smoke.
I genuinely think the experience would be more enjoyable if next season was in the Championship. However, 100%. my reservation with wishing it on the club and wanting it to happen is we've seen what a shit show the finances are in when we're getting
The thing is,
50 million in Premier League money.
the thing is, there's no guarantee that West Ham would ever come back, though. That's the problem. Like, it could be a
No
league
guarantees
situation.
survives.
But
Do you know what I mean?
all we're doing is existing. I mean, is it? Do you just want to be a Premier League club, just sort of loitering around 17, getting your arse ripped out every week? It ain't no fun.
I know, but I disagree, Nick, because look at us win Europe. Like, you've got to be in the Premier League to qualify for Europe, unless we're going to go and win a trophy in the Championship, which I don't think we're going to do that anytime soon. So
that's the other thing. I saw that as well. So in the 15 years that they've been there, I think the most we've made one domestic semi-final, and we got battered 9-0. No, it was against Palace, and we got battered 9-0 in that one domestic semi-final we've made.
Was that quarter-final, Arsenal?
No, we made the
Man
League
City,
Cup
you know.
final in the year that Birmingham won it.
Man City, was it? We got fucking hammered in that one. I know that
we
was
got hammered over 2 legs. We got battered, but that's it. I mean, in that time, how many other teams have won domestic cups? You've seen Palace, Wigan have won a cup, haven't they? In that time period, you know,
Palace.
We haven't not even had a final, a domestic final in that 15 years.
Yeah, Birmingham won the League Cup. Yeah.
The only thing I say though, in regards to going down, is I think you'd get the hardcore fans back, but if Sullivan's here, you ain't. That's where the problem is. Like, it all goes back to him. If Sullivan was to say he's going to be leaving at the end of the season, I think you'd have the fan base back there sooner rather than later.
Let me ask you a hypothetical question, gentlemen.
Go for it.
Would you take relegation if it meant Sullivan's gone?
Yes.
Yes, but I think it means the opposite.
I'm just saying, but if that's what it meant, would you take it?
Yeah, for long term prosperity, you'd have to take it. But actually, I think the reality would be that would mean he'd stay longer.
Possibly.
He wouldn't. If we went down and the club was worth half the value it's worth today, whether that's 800 million, 700, whatever, it'd be worth half the value, if not less, in the Championship. There's no way he sells at that point.
But play the game, Charlie. Come on. If we get relegated and Sullivan goes, would you take it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What about yourself, James?
I think I'd have to, mate. I'd have to take short-term pain for long-term success. Do you know what I mean? And get him out the door. Because what it is, if he was to go, then like it would be a brighter future at West Ham, right? Like, the history of the move and everything will be erased, like because he's out. Like, it's like the big bad wolf's out the door, and yeah, I'd have to accept it. But Birmingham fan.
We could fuck off the entire first team. Did you watch the under-21s the other day?
5-1 against MK Dons.
Sell them all. Fuck all the first team off. Would you put the under-21s in?
Fuck it, let's have a party.
Yeah.
That probably would be their
Fuck it.
Fuck it, got 150 million from Sky. Let's just sell everyone we can for 10 quid every day. 10 quid here, there, and everywhere. Paqueta will go for about 15 million.
We'll still have Souček and James Ward-Prowse in midfield, though.
Yeah. They
I've spent too many hours bashing Souček on this channel. I can't go into that now.
Let's get into the last paragraph, guys. So the last paragraph that AI spit out of the statement that has been summarised. Commitment to dialogue is the heading. So the club states its commitment to ongoing communication with the FAB, highlighting a recent quotes positive and productive meeting, close quotes, where they discussed a range of issues. They've also invited FAB representatives to visit the training ground. Oh, I'm sure they can't wait for that. And have
and they won't be allowed cameras.
I bet they won't. Sign an NDA.
And have committed to a presentation outlining their future strategy and vision. I'll tell you what, who wants to get stuck into that? Charlie, do you want to have a first dibs?
What is there to know about it, really? It's just it's
great,
just awful. Like, there's been dialogue over the years. There's been dialogue for 10 years now. Nothing's changed. Nothing's really improved. They squared a standoff and didn't make it worse, but I'd argue they'd probably make it better either. They showed in reading the minutes, they clearly outlined what the club think of these meetings. They go in there, take a little bit of stick, take a little bit of commentary from people who are, don't forget, and I don't know anyone on these boards, but this fan advisory board is selected by the club, I believe. So it's just people.
I will say it has changed, because this is the first time they were completely unsuspecting of what happened there. So you're right. So, you know, that the fan advisory board, you know, representatives are elected and they go up and they represent each of the 12 different supporters groups, and they got diversity groups, same as United and everyone else. But they got absolutely torn to shreds, and they were not fucking expecting it. So it has changed. It has, as of now.
It might have changed on that side of the table. It doesn't mean the other side of the table have started listening or wanted to do anything about it. I mean, the statement says it all. The statement is a puff piece about, even after getting torn to pieces by the fan advisory board, even after the vote no conference, the publishing of the protests, all of that's happened in the last few weeks. They come out with a statement that basically reads, we're doing a great job. We think we've done X, Y, and Z that's fantastic. What you're complaining about, shut up, go back to your box and be quiet.
But you're right. They're stubborn. They're going to double down. They're going to try and deflect it. But we've seen the media blackout from Sullivan. We know exactly they're under severe pressure at the minute, mate. They really are. They're getting hit from every angle, from the fan base, from the media, and the one that has hurt them, I'm sure it is the FAB, which I think they always relied on as a bit of a comfort blanket. That comfort blanket's gone.
Yeah,
especially when you consider you got the IFR, you got the Football Regulatory Board that's coming in this year as well, and massive and high on their agenda is fan engagement and everything else. So they'd be talking to the fan advisory board. This is really bad for Sullivan and Brady. It's really bad.
Chris, commitment to dialogue.
2 seconds, Chris. As a football player, not as a person.
Bash it. He's a lovely bloke. Man. He's a lovely
bloke. Shit centre midfielder.
He is
on the floor.
Yeah.
Great, Chris. So commitment to dialogue. That paragraph that AI spat out as a summarisation of the statement. What did you make of it?
Well, first of all, I think the board believe they're actually doing a good job for a start. And secondly, you know, Brady's a politician, right? Every fucking statement she makes, she skirts around the real issues. She just points out what they're doing well, and she ignores what they're not doing well. And, you know, like I said, it's just like a politician, isn't it? It's absolute bollocks. She hasn't got a fucking clue. She needs to live in the real world. But yeah, I don't think they think they've done anything wrong at all.
I think you're right. I think you're right on that, Chris, because what they gauge as doing well, what they mean is they're doing well for themselves, doing well for West Ham, and doing well for themselves as financially as an organisation. Two different things. They're doing well. They're doing well for themselves, spending the absolute fucking minimum, spending nothing on training infrastructure, as I've already said, spending the absolute minimum, and we know they are creaming money out of that fucking club. We know they are.
Oh yeah, I think. Sorry, I was just going to say. I think they're completely out of touch as well. I mean,
yeah.
I explained it to one of my mates the other day that it's like every team in the Premier League's playing Football Manager 25, and Sullivan's still playing fucking sensible soccer. It's ridiculous. He's so fucking out of date.
Remember that?
Yeah,
remember that
he's so fucking out of date.
There you go.
No one's playing Football Manager 2025. They cancelled the fucking thing.
Oh yeah,
you could score fucking curlers from the halfway line on sensible soccer, couldn't you? Do you remember? It was a great game.
Back in the day.
Still subject.
James, commitment to dialogue. What say you?
Fucking hell, mate. Honestly, I don't even. Do you know what? It's the gaslighting. It's the trying to make the fan base feel like they're the problem, which irritates me because we're not the problem. We are their customers. That's why they look at us. Do you know what I mean? And the customer's always right, and we're not happy with the service that you're providing currently right now, Brady and Sullivan. Honestly, mate, there's a reason why they're dragging this out for not leaving West Ham, and I think it's because they can't get their hands on that stadium. That's what I think it is. They're having problems getting their hands on that stadium, and it's going to take time because West Ham at the minute, and I see someone saying they're like 1.1 billion they're worth. They're not worth 1.1 billion unless they get the stadium, and they need that stadium. And I think they're just trying to smooth it over and trying to go through the tide. But I think this time's different. I really do. I think this is going to be persistent over the next 6 months, and it just needs everyone. Just needs everyone to come together.
Well, the Telegraph, just to touch on that, the Telegraph article did touch on our actual valuation, and they said that we are worth no more than what we were when Daniel Kretinsky bought into the club, which means that we're basically worth about 600 to 650 million.
Yeah, but what are we worth in that regards, though? Because naming rights, I'd say yeah, but anything else, I don't see what else we're currently worth.
It's potential. It's getting less because a lot of what you would do, you would sell. Because don't forget, you know, when it comes to a football club, it's worth however much they say it's worth. If Sullivan says it's worth, I'm not going to sell it for 2 billion, and that's what he'll say. But what you need to be able to sell is, you know, the fan base would have been a big thing. These fans come back, you know, week after week, year after year. You know, they're super loyal. This, that, the other. And with regards to the stadium, I think the opposite on that one. I think we could have bought that by now, but I think the deal is so good that, you know, it would cost us an extra £10 million a year to run that place if we owned it ourselves. The fucking roof needed doing. It's all in disrepair. I don't think they want to pump any of their money into that whatsoever. He's just happy existing in that Premier League, getting all of that TV money, all of that Premier League money, fucking taking out whatever he takes out and putting the actual club in debt all the time. He don't put himself in debt; he puts the club in debt. But he's taking money out. I don't think he's got in it because he ain't got that sort of money. He hasn't got that sort of money.
Yeah, but if he was looking to sell it, though, Nick, right? If he was looking to sell West Ham as a brand and to a potential new owner or whatever, he would have to have that stadium, surely.
No,
because renting it,
because what he's selling is the potential of buying the stadium. So if you remember when was it Pi Capital that came in and they were looking at buying it out. They were actually having meetings with the LLDC, putting moves in place. Now the worry is with that is whoever does come in, you could just be looking at somebody doing another fucking property deal there.
True.
But at the same time, you know, I'd be all for not moving this out of London, you know, out to Essex like some people have said. That'd be unacceptable. But if they were, they could build a smaller stadium on that footprint.
Yeah, easy.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
they could, you know,
or they could move West Ham to the post office, where there's a big major post office at West Ham station. I don't know if it's still there or not,
because that land's worth a fucking fortune, James. So if they could buy that for next to nothing, level it, then there's money there. So that's what I think Sullivan's selling, because at the end of the day, we've got a 100-year lease, whatever the fuck it is. So there's nothing that anyone can. They can't do anything with it. It's a drain on the taxpayer. If somebody came in, they probably could get it for more or less a packet of peanuts if they wanted to. You know, relatively speaking, anyway.
Maybe, but the dialogue is just to say this before I let Kris land. Yeah, the dialogue's shit, though, isn't it? Let's be real. Like the way they are talking at the fan base, I think is disgusting more than anything. Like you're trying to literally convince us that we're in the wrong, and we should just sit there and basically shut up. Really,
I think as we said earlier on, I don't actually think they're talking to us. I think they're talking through us to the media.
Yeah,
they're talking to the media. Yeah.
I think we're going to land on you, Nick. So just your take on the commitment to dialogue paragraph there.
The commitment to dialogue is a tick box that they've just had to do, and it's been an absolute, in my opinion, pointless exercise for the past few years. It's just something that they've had to do, even more so now. You know, fan engagement is incredibly important now with the new regulator that's coming up. So to have it turn so sour the way that it has, it's very inconvenient for the board at the moment. It really is, because you do know the powers that these people have got. They can force a sale. They can remove owners from their post as well.
Yes,
they do have teeth. So it's going to be very interesting. There is a conspiracy theory out there as well. I don't buy it, but the conspiracy theory is because apparently what they're targeting on they're really going to be getting their teeth into the Premier League. That's what they want to do. They want to clean up the Premier League next year. They're going to be doing their prep work this year, tail end of this year. But the conspiracy theory is that would Sullivan take getting relegated just to get out the firing line of the regulator?
I love a good conspiracy theory, mate.
I don't buy it, but I don't know. Do you think Sullivan wants anyone looking for his books?
No. I think he wants someone looking through his books less than Gary Glitter would have liked PC World to look through his hard drive. That's all I got for you.
Other PC companies are available.
Yes, exactly that. We are not advertising any services that PC World have to offer. I'm sure there are other good providers of these services. Right, so I'm gonna just fire around to each of you individually, just to have your final say on basically the statement that the club have basically tell us, in a sentence or two, what your overall thoughts are. I think I can probably work it out, but Kris, talk to me.
That's just like bollocks, isn't it? Simple as that. It's just, like I said, political talk, trying to get the media back on their side. That's never going to happen in a million years. Even TalkSport are turned on them now. It's just absolute fucking shit. And I just really hope that everyone, shows up at the weekend and, gives them what for. I'll certainly be there in spirit anyway.
James, just to you, are they absolutely fucking deluded and removed from reality, do you think?
Yeah, they most certainly are, mate. One thing I'm going to say is I'm so pleased and proud of every West Ham fan who sort of got on board with this, from YouTube, from social media, people going on TV and speaking about it. I think everyone's finally sort of come together and basically the United stand for something in West Ham United. I'm pleased with that. I think this is going to take time. I think he ain't going to go as easy as we want him to go. I think he's going to have a fight in his hands. One thing I will say is that we have got to be persistent with this. Like, we really do. If we're going to boycott, and then once the boycott's done, it needs to be lined up again and again into a point where he has got nowhere to run and his brand starts going down and he starts costing him money. Because the moment it starts costing him money, then I think he'll start crying and want to get out of there. So we've just got to be persistent. But I'm just pleased with everyone. Everyone's done their bit, like, to try and promote petitions, like what Nick's done, me on E20, you boys, like everyone on sort of social media, because we care about this club. We love this club to death, and at the end of the day, this geezer who owns our club is killing it. So, it is what it is. But with us, we're going to fight to the end until there is no more.
Yeah, he's running it like a fucking, school tuck shop as far as I'm concerned. Charlie, your final thoughts.
That's generous for a start. Yeah, I mean, I can just echo what the boys have already said. It's the statement was all a load of nonsense. As we said, it wasn't aimed at us, but just looking forward to and hoping that the turnout for the protest is good at the weekend. I suspect the boycott will be fairly well, I was going to say attended, but that's the opposite there, isn't it? Boycotted against Brentford, and look forward to seeing what happens United and all the other groups have got planned for the rest of the home games. And no doubt, once this campaign starts picking up and keeps persistently going, whatever happens on the pitch, the away fans will no doubt get behind it as well. And that's really where the passion and loudness of the anger will start to get across to the owners. I think I'd be lying if I said I expect anything to change quickly. I don't, but that's the point of being persistent and keeping on these wankers' necks, basically. I think I'll be interested to hear what you guys, how you, obviously we'll guess it at this point, but how you see it going. I think my fear is that Sullivan, if it gets too bad and starts to damage Sullivan too much, I do fear that what will actually happen is two sons that I was going to call names then, but we'll just say two sons. Well, actually, he'll step back. Brady might go in a transition period, and his sons will take over, and we'll be just fucking starting from start again. It'll be the same shit with different owners, and well, same owners to the point. But yeah, that's my concern. That's where I think we could end up in a year's time, which would be better, I suppose, but would be no better than the current ownership.
God. Nick, what say you?
Yeah, well, sod the statement. It was a load of waffle. What's important now is that with all the suffering that we've been through since we've been at that stadium, you know, with one high point, with all the suffering and all the work and the pushing that we've all been doing throughout this summer, you know, talk is cheap, as they say. What you've got to do now is we need boots on the ground. We need people there. So if West Ham does and ever has meant something to you, irrespective of how you feel about West Ham now, you know, go back to think about when you know why you supported West Ham. Most of us, it's been fed down through our families. You used to go over there with your dad, with your granddad, with everyone else. You know, some of those people might not even be here anymore. And I don't know about you, but you get all these people talking about pronouns and everything else. And what do you identify as? Well, most of us probably identify as West Ham. Most of us do. It's in our DNA. It is who we are. And I know we're stubborn, and I know we're frustrated, and I know we're feeling empty with everything surrounding West Ham at the moment. And we think it's gone, and we think we can never get it back. But we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our family. We owe it to our kids, the next generation as well, to do something. This is our time. It is just starting, but the wheels will come off of it if we can't get a decent fan representation there. We need as many people there as possible. Going back to what James said earlier on, people need to behave themselves. They've got to, because Sullivan would love nothing more than to discredit what we're trying to do. And it is going to be a marathon. It's not a sprint. We've got to force these people out. It's beyond any form of debate now. Everything's been said. You know, they've almost done. They can't really do anything more bad to us than what they've already done. I feel like they've reached their ceiling of being cunts, to be quite honest. I feel like they've reached. I feel like they've reached their peak. So it's time for them to go. They've got to go. I don't want the fucking spawn of Satan, as Charlie just said earlier on. We don't want that. No, we don't want them anywhere near the fucking club, because nothing will change. We want them out of this club. I know that Hammers United are going for the BS resign thing. I'm backing that. I am BS resign, but ultimately, I want them out. I want them gone. Brady first. She ain't even got fucking shares. Sack her. Get her out. He's right-hand lady. Then Sullivan. Then fucking Laurel and Hardy. These two boys. Get them out as well. Clean it up. Get somebody in who's got a proper fucking vision that can set us on a path to be in the club that we know that we can be.
On that note, Nick, I'm going to say thanks to you guys that have been watching. 91 of you watching live. Make sure you've all put a thumbs up on the video before you disappear and carry on with your lives. Maybe consider sharing this.
That's not the love heart in the Poxy live chat, by the way. You've got to come out the live chat and press the thumbs up on the video. Why do they put that love heart there?
I don't know what that's all about, mate. I don't know.
I'm blaming Sullivan for that. I'm blaming Sullivan, the cunt.
Yeah. Drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Maybe share it onto your social media platforms. And I hear there's a thing called a hype now. So if you've got a hype that's handy, chuck it my way. And
fuck off. They only get 3 a week. Save them for Claret and Booze, everyone.
Well, I tell you what. Let's do it like this. Say one for us, one for this one, one for E20, one for Claret and Booze.
I don't even know what they are. What are they?
I've got no clue, but I'm guessing it helps out with the old algorithms. I haven't, like I say, my name's Rob Gates, not Bill Gates.
Yeah,
that's Brady's fault, that one.
Yeah,
terrible. Right, guys, thanks for joining us, and we're going to do our sign out, guys. It's our family motto, shall we say? Come on, you irons!
Fuck off, Sullivan and Brady. Yeah,
and you can fuck off as well. Exactly that. Bastards.